Probably the worst hit place, the worst hit area of this entire storm was definitely Haiti. So originally, the death toll in Haiti, they said it was over 100. And then it jumped to 280, I believe it was. And then it jumped to 850. 850 people died from one storm. It's a very, 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 very sad thing. And the thing about it is, and I was talking to my mom about this, is that, so here in the US, we have the means to relocate or to go to another part of the country. But really, the people of Haiti, even if they went to like the eastern half of their country, there's no way they could have really gotten themselves there that quick away from the storm with the notice they probably had. I mean, they didn't really have the ability to relocate themselves, so those people really didn't have a choice, which for me is really sad. Okay, sorry about that. I'm back. I think I know what I'm doing now. Maybe. Well, I mean, I just kind of jumped off of a ledge and hurt myself, so. Yeah, actually, when I was practicing, this is the part that I got stuck on. I got really confused with the notes that I had written when I was practicing, and that was really weird, Link. So hopefully that won't happen this time. I don't know. We'll see. But yeah, that was really confusing for me. Let's continue on this way. We're gonna climb back up here. And I'm really looking forward to the item that we're gonna get this dungeon. Although it's kind of a dull item in my opinion, it's still one of my favorites, and it's very useful despite that. So, looking forward to it. Let me see. So we jump down from right here, and I believe this is where we want to go. Okay, I'm back. I think I know where we're going. I think we want to go over there. Is actually where we want to go. But so getting back and talking about that storm, it kind of makes me upset that some people here in the U.S. are too stubborn. Or at least in my state, not only my state, in Florida and Georgia as well, they were too stubborn to leave that they risk their lives, not only their lives, but other people's lives as well. Like, for example, there was this island off of the coast, there's this island off the coast of South Carolina, and I believe actually I went the wrong way. Okay, I'm back, and I know where I'm going now. So, yeah, we're all good. By the way, if you ever get confused as to where I am in the dungeon, just look at the map below on the bottom left corner. It'll probably help you out a little bit. But there was this island off the coast of South Carolina. I believe it's called, like, it started with a D. It was, like, Delphi Island, or I can't remember what the name was. But anyways, that's not my point. There were 100 residents on the island who refused to leave. They were being provided a ferry service from their island to the mainland where they could evacuate. And not only that, but they had buses that were being provided by our state government to move them further inland to shelters provided by our state government and by, I believe, by the Red Cross as well. And I actually went the wrong way. Not wanting to go here, but that's okay. I know where I'm supposed to go. And they were so stubborn that they would not leave. And because they would not leave, I mean, like, what, I mean, which also, let me back up a little bit. And they were completely positive, at least with the current forecast at the time, that island would be underwater, and that those people would most definitely drown if they would not leave the island. But they refused to leave the island. So because they refused to leave the island, National Guardsmen had to. Again, I don't know how this all played out, but it seemed as if National Guardsmen were gonna have to risk their own lives to go save these people later during the storm. Because when they finally realized, oh wait, we probably should leave because our island's underwater. That's probably when they, were expected that the the government would just swoop in and pick them up and, save them if they needed it. But yeah, I did a terrible job of explaining that. But my point is that because they stayed, because they were too stubborn to leave, they made it to where it was likely that members from the National Guard had to go and save them if the storm got too bad and if they were drowning. So I don't know how it actually all played out. I don't know if they eventually left or not, but they were refusing to leave despite the fact that they were being pleaded by the governor and the National Guard and by just by the state to leave. They would not leave no matter what because they were just so stubborn. They expected other people to come in and, you know, risk their lives, come save them later when they were like, oh crap, we probably should have left. I mean, it's really, really dumb. So, but luckily most of the people listened to the governor and heeded the warnings and left and evacuated when asked, which is good. And because of that, I think there's gonna be I don't know of any casualties in my state, even though it was in my state that the hurricane made landfall, because of the evacuations. So, you know, I mean, I just kind of wonder how bad it could have been, like how many deaths, how many people's lives were probably saved because of the mandatory evacuations. But anyways, I did a terrible job of explaining for this past like 2 minutes. I hope you understood what I was trying to say. Anyways, mini boss time, and this guy makes me want to play Pikmin 3. I don't know why. It's just he looks like some kind of enemy you would see in Pikmin. I mean, he looks a little bit too menacing for Pikmin, but you know, just like it looks like a big bug or like a big amphibian. You know, I could see him being like a Pikmin boss. If it makes any sense. Anyways, he or she. I'm gonna say she actually, since there's a lot of little babies that are now coming my way. Anyway, she's gonna let all of her children come and attack you, and she's gonna watch you kill them right before her very eyes. But hey, why would she care? Which, by the way, you're gonna want to move very quick right here, because what's gonna happen is if you stay eventually, and whether you stay in one place or not, she will hop up in the air and then she will land on you. So just keep moving. If you stay in one place, you'll definitely be attacked. Let me see. Oh, she's gonna release more babies because I was a little too slow. Alright, I just recommend spin attack for these guys, but just kill them as fast as you can because they can do you a lot of damage if you sit there for too long. Let me see. Anyways, now that you kill them, I recommend getting the bomb arrow combination for this because it's going to make your life a lot easier. Just make sure you keep moving. And every time she lands, just slice her tongue. Now, I believe if you repeat this process, you could eventually defeat her, but the fastest way to do it is wait till she opens up her mouth, shoot a bomb arrow inside of her. She's gonna swallow. It's really weird. So like you see the bomb explode, yet she swallows. The animation still plays of her swallowing it, and it's still like dying, and it's still exploding inside her. So it makes no sense. It's like it blows up once and it hits her face, and then it unexplodes and then explodes again inside of her. If that makes any sense. I just said explode. Never mind. I wasn't really thinking about what I said before. Anyways, here's a chest. And this chest has a pretty cool thing, and that's a claw shot. So, now that we have that, that's going to open up the rest of the dungeon to us and make things a lot easier as well. So this is the item that I was talking about earlier that I was like, oh, it's kind of dull, but it's kind of cool too. Yeah, so anyways, and I'm playing with the gamepad, so motion controls. I mean, I probably could go in the settings and turn them off completely, but I mean, like the motion control, like analog combination is probably the best that I have. But I guess I'm just too lazy to figure it all out in settings. But it works right now. It's a little bit inconvenient, but it's nothing too bad. So, but as for me, if you're wondering where I live in South Carolina, I live like 3 hours inland, so I'm fine. It did not like make a landfall and like trudge through our state. No, it just skimmed the coast, and the eye barely made landfall in some town north of Charleston. That's another thing is they were really worried that it was going to make a direct landfall in Charleston. Luckily, it did not. What was I saying? Yeah. So, and that's really good because Charleston's really populated, and I believe most of the people in the city left, but there probably were a few people who stayed. I know for a fact that students at the College of Charleston, they left. And what was really cool, I mean, I'm sure they were required to by the state, so it's probably not as generous and as kind as they're making out to be. But the students from College of Charleston came up to USC, University of South Carolina, in the capital of South Carolina, Columbia. They came to Columbia and stayed at the USC dorms. Because they had to leave Charleston because they thought the eye was going to pass over Charleston as like a Category 2 or 3 storm. So, luckily it didn't quite happen. The storm weakened considerably has weakened considerably in the past, like, I would say 18 hours, which is really good. So, it's been really good. It could have been a lot worse. This Hurricane Matthew could have been a lot worse for the U.S., but it wasn't, which is a very good thing. But for other places, yeah, it was still really bad, especially for Haiti. Okay, so for what I'm doing, this is only really worth your time if you're doing the HD, if you're playing the HD version of the game. So if you're not, then I guess I really wouldn't recommend you wasting your time on this. If you want to, I mean, even if you like playing the GameCube version, you want to do this, feel free. I'm not really quite so sure what's in this chest if you play the GameCube version because I've never gone back to get it. But there's something. We're gonna get another one of the Hylian letter stamps, and what I'm doing right now. So if you don't wanna do this, which there's really no point for you doing this unless you're playing the HD version. You can just kind of skip ahead. But I'm going to backtrack to this room right over here, where we. I'm hoping I'm going the right way. I believe I am. Yeah, I am. Where we brought down the water. Where we had the water going down, we slid down the slide. Yeah, we're going to backtrack right here. And this is actually really, really, really tedious, what we're about to do. So I'm probably going to speed it up. I'm going to let you guys see how slow it is. Let's see, put on the iron boots. Yep, it is literally just walking all the way up here. Eventually, once you get close enough to the targets, you can claw shot your way and skip a few steps. But yeah, it's really slow. I recommend rolling. You're rolling really, really slow, but it's still the fastest thing you can do. So yeah, I'm just going to kind of speed this up a little bit. Okay, at long last, goodness. Okay, so what you want to do is claw shot your way right through here, drop down, and we're going to get Hylian letter Y. That's right. Why did I have to be this one? I'm funny. But work has been going pretty well as well, I guess. School's been alright, actually. I talked about the classes, but I haven't really. I said it was tough, but I didn't really say anything else beyond that. The classes are going pretty well, I'd say. English is really tough, mostly just because of the teacher. But I really, besides my English teacher, I like all my teachers quite a bit. So, hey, I mean, you know, that's a plus. It definitely could have been a lot worse than that. So. Yeah, it's been going pretty well. I'm trying to think. Probably psychology is my favorite class. And yeah, psychology is interesting, but mostly it's probably just my teacher. In the way the class is set up. She has a very, very, very simple. No, I didn't want to do this. No, I don't want the fairy. I didn't. Okay, there's a fairy right there, guys. If you want to get it, I didn't want to get it. I wanted to put it in a bottle, but oh well. We'll have another opportunity to put a fairy in a bottle later, but yeah, that's there for in case you want it. And yeah, my teacher, she looks at the test and makes a study guide, so psychology is really easy, which is ironic because it's a 101 course, and it probably should be one of my hardest courses, but it's not. So it's whatever. I mean, who really cares? Which, by the way, I don't know why I took this path. I could have just taken this path right up here. Probably would have been a lot easier, but oh well. Wasn't really thinking. Which, that's another thing, is since I've been practicing and playing this dungeon all day in preparation for this recording, I feel like I've learned it. You guys are probably going to laugh at this a little bit, or have a little chuckle. I think I know this dungeon pretty well. Despite the fact that I've been like, okay, what do I do next? Yeah, I think I'm starting to get a hang of it, so. Next time I have a friend who's confused in here, because, you know, that just happens every day. I have a friend ask me, hey, can you help me with Lake Bed Temple? Yeah, that happens every day. I'll be able to help them out. So, yeah, that'll be good. Now, if you go down here, if you move forward, you'll be swept down. But I don't want to do that quite yet. So what you can do is you can claw shot right up here onto the chandelier. And we're going to get our first. Let's open up the chest. I don't want to spoil it before I open the chest. Our first piece of heart. There you go. One more and another, and we get a full heart container, which that's the thing. Actually, we're gonna get another one in this episode, and then we're gonna have the heart container at the end of the dungeon. So we're gonna have two more very soon, which is gonna be really cool. Also, by the way, it's kind of a funny animation. So Link, no matter what, poor Link, he thinks that no matter what the depth of the water, he can just always dive, or the height from which he's diving, he can just always dive into the water. So we're just gonna jump, and Link's just gonna dive right into the stairs. I mean, you have to imagine that would hurt, or probably, snap his neck. Something along those lines. Somewhere between that, somewhere in that range. But oh well. It's funny, nonetheless. So, let me think. Work's been going pretty well. I got a raise this year. Haha. Well, not this year. Well, I mean, like recently, the past month, I think. It was a couple of paychecks ago. I got a raise. It was pretty cool. So I now make $1 more than I was 6 months ago, which is really awesome. And I believe now we're actually at the point in the dungeon that I practice the most. So I believe I know this area probably better than the rest of the dungeon. So that's a good thing. I'll probably be stopping and looking less. Hopefully that is.